race session is at Portland International Raceway Final in Portland, USA. Riley Gallardo is first. Ted Hoff is second. Kevin Woodward is P3. James Pendry is fourth. Panzeref 1 is fifth. Gordon Jacobson is sixth. Walter Phillips is P7. Shea Stanley is 8th. Jen Markoff is P9. Vernon Whitley is P10. Riley Gallardo is first.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
Ted Hoff is second. Kevin Woodward is fourth. Jen Markoff is 10th. Ted Hoff is second. Panzeref 1 is fifth. James Pendry is third, 0.5 behind Ted Hoff. Shea Stanley is P10, 0.3 behind Jen Markoff. Shea Stanley passed Jen Markoff for P9. Kevin Woodward is P4, 0.5 behind James Pendry. Shea Stanley is P9. Shea Stanley passed Vernon Whitley for P8. Vernon Whitley is 9th, 0.6 behind Shea Stanley. Panzeref 1 on lap 3 is 5th, 0.9 behind Kevin Woodward. Vernon Whitley is 9th, 0.9 behind Shea Stanley. Panzer F1 is P5, 0.6 behind Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is 4th. Vernon Whitley is P9, 0.5 behind Shea Stanley. Panzer F1 is 5th, 1.1 behind Kevin Woodward. Vernon Whitley is 9th, 0.5 behind Shea Stanley. Panzer F1 is P5, 1.3 behind Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is P4, 1.1 behind James Pendry. Vernon Whitley is 9th, 1.7 behind Shea Stanley. Panzer F1 is P5, 1.3 behind Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is P4, 1.2 behind James Pendry. Vernon Whitley is 9th, 1.0 behind Shea Stanley. Kevin Woodward is P4, 0.9 behind James Pendry. Shea Stanley is P8, 1.9 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is P4, 0.8 behind James Pendry. Kevin Woodward lost P4 to Panzer F1. Shea Stanley is 8th, 1.3 behind Gordon Jacobson. Ted Hoff is P2, 2.4 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is P8. Ted Hoff is P2, 2.4 behind Riley Gallardo. Panzer F1 is P4, 0.5 behind James Pendry. Shea Stanley is 8th, 1.0 behind Gordon Jacobson. Panzer F1 is 4th, 0.9 behind James Pendry. Shea Stanley is 8th, 0.5 behind Gordon Jacobson. Gordon Jacobson is 8th battling Shea Stanley. Shea Stanley was 95.3 faster last lap. Panzer F1 is 4th, 1.3 behind James Pendry. Kevin Woodward is 5th, 1.4 behind Panzer F1. Panzer F1 is P4, 0.7 ahead of Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is 5th, 0.4 behind Panzer F1. Panzer F1 is 4th, 0.3 ahead of Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward on lap 10 is P5 battling Panzer F1. Panzer F1 on lap 11 is P4, 0.3 ahead of Kevin Woodward. Panzer F1 lost 4th to Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is 5th. Panzer F1 is 4th, 0.3 ahead of Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is P5, 0.2 behind Panzer F1. Panzer F1 is P4, 0.6 ahead of Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is 5th, 0.5 behind Panzer F1. Panzer F1 is 4th, 0.3 ahead of Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is P5, 0.3 behind Panzer F1. Panzer F1 is 5th battling Kevin Woodward. Panzer F1 passed Kevin Woodward for P4. Kevin Woodward is P5, 0.1 behind Panzer F1. Kevin Woodward passed Panzer F1 for 4th. Vernon Whitley entering the pits is 9th. Kevin Woodward lost P4 to Panzer F1. Panzer F1 is P5. Ted Hoff is 2nd, 1.3 behind Riley Gallardo. Panzer F1 is 5th, 1.2 behind Kevin Woodward. Kevin Woodward is 4th, 1.2 behind James Pendry. Vernon Whitley exiting pits. James Pendry is 4th battling Kevin Woodward. Panzer F1 on lap 14 is P5, 0.7 behind James Pendry. The leader has just finished the race. Riley Gallardo finished P1. Ted Hoff finished P2. Kevin Woodward finished P3. James Pendry finished P4. Panzer F1 finished P5. Vernon Whitley finished P10. Walter Phillips finished 6th. Jen Markov finished P9. Gordon Jacobson finished P7. Shea Stanley finished P8. The race session is at Portland International Raceway Final in Portland, USA. Vernon Whitley is first. Jen Markov is second. Shea Stanley is P3. Gordon Jacobson is P4. Walter Phillips is 5th. Panzer F1 is P6. James Pendry is P7. Kevin Woodward is 8th. Ted Hoff is P9. Riley Gallardo is 10th. Vernon Whitley entering the pits is 13th. Jen Markov is P1.
Buggity, buggity, buggity. Let's go racing, boys!
Jen Markov lost P1 to Shea Stanley. Panzer F1 is 7th. Panzer F1 is now 7th. Panzer F1 is now 7th. Gordon Jacobson is P2. Vernon Whitley exiting pits. Ted Hoff is P3. Ted Hoff passed Gordon Jacobson for P2. Kevin Woodward is 4th. Riley Gallardo is P5. Panzer F1 is 6th. Gordon Jacobson is 5th. Panzer F1 is 6th, 0.2 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is P3, 0.5 behind Shea Stanley. Shea Stanley is P3, 0.1 behind Kevin Woodward. Gordon Jacobson is P6. Best lap is a 1:45.872. Riley Gallardo is P4. Riley Gallardo passed Shea Stanley for P3. Shea Stanley is P4, 0.4 behind Riley Gallardo. Walter Phillips is 8th, 0.4 behind Jen Markov. Walter Phillips passed Jen Markov for P7. Panzer F1 on lap 3 is P5, 0.3 behind Shea Stanley. Panzer F1 passed Shea Stanley for 4th. Shea Stanley is P5, 0.3 behind Panzer F1. Riley Gallardo is third, 0.6 behind Kevin Woodward. Shea Stanley on lap 4 is P5, 1.0 behind Panzer F1. Riley Gallardo is P3, 0.4 behind Kevin Woodward. Panzer F1 is P4, 3.7 behind Riley Gallardo. Riley Gallardo is P3, 0.3 behind Kevin Woodward. Shea Stanley is P6, 2.1 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward on lap 5 is P3, 0.2 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is 6th, 1.6 behind Gordon Jacobson. Vernon Whitley is 9th, 0.6 behind Jen Markov. Kevin Woodward is P3, 1.1 behind Riley Gallardo. Jen Markov is 9th, 0.2 behind Vernon Whitley. Kevin Woodward is P3, 0.8 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley on lap 6 is 6th, 1.3 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is P3, 1.3 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is P6, 1.4 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is P3, 1.3 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is P6, 1.4 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is P3, 2.0 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is P6, 1.4 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is third, 2.8 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is sixth, 1.2 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is P3, 2.5 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is sixth, 1.2 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is P3, 3.5 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is P6, 0.5 behind Gordon Jacobson. Riley Gallardo on lap 10 is second, 4.7 behind Ted Hoff. Gordon Jacobson is P6 battling Shea Stanley. Gordon Jacobson passed Shea Stanley for fifth. Shea Stanley is 6th, 0.5 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is P3. Shea Stanley is P6, 0.7 behind Gordon Jacobson. Kevin Woodward is 3rd, 4.3 behind Riley Gallardo. Shea Stanley is P6, 0.4 behind Gordon Jacobson. Panzer F1 is P4, 4.3 behind Kevin Woodward. Shea Stanley is P6, 0.4 behind Gordon Jacobson. Walter Phillips is P7, 3.7 behind Shea Stanley. Shea Stanley is 6th, 0.2 behind Gordon Jacobson. Shea Stanley passed Gordon Jacobson for P5. Walter Phillips is 6th, 0.5 behind Shea Stanley. Walter Phillips passed Shea Stanley for 5th. Gordon Jacobson is 7th, 0.5 behind Shea Stanley. Shea Stanley is P7. Shea Stanley passed Gordon Jacobson for P6. Gordon Jacobson is P7. Best lap is a 1:33.850. Shea Stanley is 6th, 3.8 ahead of Gordon Jacobson. Gordon Jacobson is P7, 3.0 behind Shea Stanley. Shea Stanley was 107.6 faster last lap. Ted Hoff is P1. Gordon Jacobson is P7. Shea Stanley is P6, 3.7 behind Walter Phillips. The leader has just finished the race. Ted Hoff finished P1. Riley Gallardo finished second. Kevin Woodward finished third. Panzer F1 finished fourth. Jen Markov finished P8. Walter Phillips finished P5. Shea Stanley finished 6th. Gordon Jacobson finished 7th.